Following the Toronto Blue Jays' disappointing games in the past few days, they come out on this Sunday afternoon and absolutely crush the Chicago Cubs 11-4 in a game that saw the offense finally break out. So we're going to break that down and much more on this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? Nick Gosse, your host of Jays Digest. Before we get into this fun game recap, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 8,000. Your support has been unbelievable. And yeah, thanks again. Let's just get right into this, crazy game. The Blue Jays absolutely needed a win coming into the final game of the series against the Chicago Cubs with an off day starting tomorrow on Monday. Unbelievable game. Unbelievable job by the pitcher, Hyun-Jin Ryu, by the bullpen, as well as the hitters, and just a well-needed breath of fresh air, especially because the past two games and really the past week has been very, very disappointing for Toronto Blue Jays fans and the team as well. And the Seattle Mariners coming into tonight's game were only a half game back of the Toronto Blue Jays for that third wildcard spot. And 4 days ago, we were 3 games up on the Seattle Mariners. So it's been, a bit of a free fall for the Blue Jays, but we know that if the offense could just pick it up, then the team would be unbelievable. We have the best rotation in recent memory, the best in baseball, and that didn't change today. So let's just get into the breakdown here. You can look at the stats. We won 11-4. Just, 1-9. Now, looking at the lineup coming into the game, Matt Chapman was scratched late with, I believe, middle finger inflammation. So you're looking at the lineup, and you're like, you have Espinal, DeYoung, and Biggio, and Varsho all in there. And boy, did they perform today. Whit Merrifield continues his incredible season, bringing his OPS almost close to 800. You have Brandon Belt, who is taking multiple walks, 3. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. continues, his pretty, fairly impressive stretches of late. And then you just have Dalton Varsho with the game of the season, the game of his Blue Jays tenure with a home run. He has 2 hits. He had 5 RBIs. And Dalton Varsho is a guy that needs to get going if the Blue Jays want to have, major success going forward as well as in the playoffs, because he's a guy with the Arizona Diamondbacks last season hit 20 plus home runs. He had that home run power. I believe he had 25. His OPS, was in the 700s. He was very, very solid. And then this year, his defense has been unbelievable. And he's kind of done what he, was supposed to do in the defensive end. But his offense has been the thing that was lackluster so far throughout the season. And he comes out and has the best game in a Blue Jays uniform on a day that, the offense, we got, a quick 2-0, deficit with Hyun-Jin Ryu giving up, 2 runs early in the game there in the first and second inning. And then Dalton Varsho comes out and hits a 3-run bomb to put us up 3-2. And they mentioned in the broadcast that, having this home run hit early in the game rather than very, very late and then, clawing back was very, very important for the Blue Jays. And then once they hit that home run, they didn't look back. You can see they put up a 5 spot. If you look at the top of the screen there in the second inning after Hyun-Jin Ryu gave up 2 runs in the first inning, and they continued to pile it on, and the bullpen held it down. And everyone contributed to a degree. Napoleon got a hit. Espinal got a hit. Jensen got hit a couple of times. Springer did solid. And it was just a day that was so well needed for the Blue Jays. And if the offense can do what we expected them to do coming into this season, there's only, 40-odd games left of the year. So it's kind of at this point almost what the offense is, which has been a bit lackluster. But with 40 games left, if they can turn into a bit of a hot streak and even put up 4 to 5 runs a game, even 3 runs a game sometimes, the Blue Jays will be in a very, very good spot because of how good their starting pitching is. And if Dalton Varsho can heat up in a day that Matt Chapman wasn't in the lineup, Bo Bichette is still hurt. That's 2 of your, best hitters missing in the lineup. The guys stepped up. Biggio's putting up a quietly, decent stretches of late. His OPS is almost at 700. He brings power from the left side. Just great out of them. And again, if we can get some of these guys the heat back up, with Whit Merrifield having a career year at this point at 34 years of age. A 34-year-old hitter has an OPS close to 800 along with his excellent defense in left field and second base as well as his steals. He has been unbelievable. Whit Merrifield is, the MVP of the Blue Jays season so far, in a season that many of the hitters were very, very disappointing, specifically Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who also had a very good game. But the hitters can continue this, and this is huge. I always say this, and Peter always, says it as well. Going into the off days, which is, tomorrow on Monday, August 14th, getting a win going into an off day is so important for the team chemistry, and at this point for the standings as well, where hopefully the Orioles can take care of business and beat the Seattle Mariners to give us a game and a half, cushion and lead over that wildcard spot. Because at this point, with the way the Jays have played over the past week, the third wildcard spot is kind of our goal right now, and just getting into the playoffs rather than trying to catch the Orioles in the first wildcard spot, or first in the AL East or the Rays in the first wild card spot. But offense did its job today, and it was it was an insane game from Dalton Varsho. Very, very big for the Toronto Blue Jays. And looking at the pitching, which has just been solid all year round, Nate Pearson finished the game giving up, a couple, a couple of hits, but he didn't give up a run. Hyun-Jin Ryu was the story of this game. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, none of them earned because of Brandon Belt's injury there in the first inning, bringing his ERA down to 2.57 as a Blue Jay. And this was coming off of his last start where he only gave up 0 hits in 4 innings in his last start before his, getting taken out of his injury. Ryu has been absolutely, dominant really since he came back, and he's a guy who doesn't have electric stuff. He's sitting 88, 89 miles per hour, but his location has been unbelievable. He's down 30 pounds. He's looking sharp, and he absolutely is looking like a better option than Alek Manoah, who was demoted a couple days ago. If Hyun-Jin Ryu can, keep doing what he's doing right now and giving you 5 innings of 2-run ball, 5 innings of 3-run ball, we're going to be in a very, very, good spot going forward, assuming the offense can pick up some of the slack, because Ryu has just been unbelievable, and he's a left-handed pitcher. Him alongside Yusei Kikuchi, who also throws to the left side, but throws 10 miles per hour harder. It's going to be a very, very interesting stretch run for the Blue Jays if Ryu can continue doing this, because he has just been unbelievable for the Toronto Blue Jays this season, albeit it's only in 3 starts. But in his last 9 innings, he's only given up 2 hits and no earned runs. Again, he's not going to strike out many guys. His command wasn't necessarily there tonight, especially in that first inning where he gave up his couple of runs on a hit that was barely fair by Dansby Swanson. What a game for Hyun-Jin Ryu. What a game by Genesis Cabrera. Jay Jackson gave up a couple runs. Eric Swanson did the job, and the pitching did its job today. And we've been kind of saying the whole year about how games where the offense goes crazy, which is far from many, but the days where the offense does go well, the pitching blows up and the bullpen explodes and has a horrible game. Today was probably the most complete game of the season for the Blue Jays, at least from recently. Especially because the Chicago Cubs, Hyun-Jin Ryu and the pitching staff did this to a Chicago Cubs team who is the best offense in baseball since the trade deadline. They're 16-5 since July 21st. They have been an unbelievable team, surging up the standings. And although we lost a series, it would have been nice to win it. Obviously, it was a 3-game miniseries. We were able to salvage 1 win, which is something that, at times this season we weren't able to do when we got swept by the Red Sox. Even last year when we got swept by the Mariners before Charlie Montoya got fired. It was having some of those vibes before before they came back in this game, but they were able to salvage a game, a very, very important game, and Ryu has been dominating since his return. And obviously his first game was a bit rough, but ever since then he's looking better and just as good, better than ever, really, for Hyun-Jin Ryu, obviously since his 2020 Cy Young caliber season. And again, if he can continue to pitch this way, the pitching staff is not the issue. If the hitters can continue to hit this way, we're going to be in very, very good shape, especially because this is a season where pitching, best it's been in years. Bullpen, best it's been in years. Defense, best it's been as long as I can remember. All that's missing is the hitting, and we know they have the capability to do it. And when Bo Bichette comes back, when Matt Chapman comes back, when Jordan Romano comes back, set to come back Tuesday, Trevor Richards, Chad Green, we have 5 players that are going to be injected into this lineup, give them some much-needed energy. The Jose Bautista day yesterday was phenomenal. They weren't able to get the win, but maybe that gives them some energy going forward. I think the Jays are going to be set up for a very, very exciting September and end of August, and hopefully in a playoff baseball. But that'll wrap up the video. A huge win for the Blue Jays. This was huge. It was well needed, and it's very, very important going into the off day tomorrow before some very important games this week. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. We'll see you guys tomorrow with Peter. Cheers.